Hey everyone, it's FinalRound and my name is Jordan, and this video will be for Tuesday's games of Olympic basketball. Since those games start so early in the morning, I didn't want to do a video Monday night because you probably won't see everything. So I do have some picks and I have some lines that are out. Unfortunately for the Germany and Brazil game that's at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, they do not have any lines out. So I will put in the pinned comment picks that I find from that game tomorrow as those lines do come out. I did find some value on Prizepicks that I like. So I want to get this video out there if anyone wants to go ahead and take advantage of that value. Also, Underdog does not have any lines out as well. So I'm getting this one out very early. But let's jump right into it. The first game is going to be Greece versus Spain. These are two teams that lost in their first set of games, and they are in what is called the group of death. So it's Greece, Spain, Canada, and Australia. Four very good teams who have a chance to make a spark when it comes to medaling. So with Greece and Spain both losing, this is going to be desperation time. These teams are going to be just grinding it out to come out with a win here. So let's talk about Spain. In game one, we saw their best player, who I pointed out, Santi Aldama, who plays for the Grizzlies. He scored 27 points in 30 minutes, mainly shooting three-pointers. He shot 6 from 8 from the three-point line. The three-point line is a little bit closer, I believe, in the Olympics. And two exhibition games recently, he scored 20 points against Puerto Rico in 17 minutes. That's on pace for 35 points in 30 minutes. And then he scored 14 points against Argentina in 24 minutes. So that's on pace for 17 and a half points in 30 minutes. So they do have his line at 17 on Prizepicks, just 17 straight up even. And his line on Fanduel, DraftKings doesn't have lines out right now for player props, but Fanduel does. His 17 and a half line is at minus 120. So Prizepicks is actually giving you a little deal here. And with this already being kind of desperation time, if you take two losses, you're probably not going to get out of this group, the group of death. So Santi Aldama is probably going to play 30 plus minutes and taking a lot of shots, definitely three-pointers. So I do like him to go over 17 points. So let's talk about Greece. Obviously, they have Giannis. He went off. He scored 34 points last game. They bumped his line up to 28 and a half. I'm sure a lot of people are going to take Giannis over points, and I don't blame them. It's just in these games, it's 5 fouls and you foul out. If Giannis gets in any type of foul trouble, this is done. Like there's no coming back since this line is so high. So I'm gonna go back to, I hope you haven't already put this guy on your ban list, Nick Kalathis. Of Greece. I had him at 7.5 assists last time. They have him at 7.5 assists again. I'm going to take him at 7.5 assists. He's minus 128 on FanDuel. He fouled out last time with 5 minutes left. He had 7 assists, so he ended up hooking. But this guy in the previous games, as I mentioned before, in the exhibition games, had 11 assists, 9, and 11 in the previous 4. This guy just dishes it out to his teammates, and he definitely would have got one more assist at least if he played those remaining 5 minutes. So I expect him to be a little bit more cautious with his fouls. He is a guard, so he shouldn't be fouling as much. That last foul was kind of stupid, just reaching in to try to get a steal. He wasn't even close to getting it. So I'm going to go back with him on assist. Giannis obviously is just going to see a ton of double teams like he saw. He's probably going to shoot a ton of free throws, which I actually learned in international basketball, if you give it to someone, they get fouled, and they make the free throw, you get an assist. So that's good for Nick Kalathis. So it's going to be a close game. So as a prediction, Greece has the closer in Giannis. We saw him try to take over in that last game to do everything he could to keep them in the game. So I'm going to go with the spread for Greece at minus 4.5 at minus 106 for them to win by 5 points, for Giannis to close this thing out in a decently close game. If you guys could, please like the video, and if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. And if you have a little bit of extra time, could you just leave a comment for the algorithm, and anything helps. So this next game is going to be Australia versus Canada. So we have a lot of NBA players in this game. My first pick is going to be Josh Giddey under 17.5 points at -122. It's on Fanduel. So during the NBA season, Josh Giddey looked like a liability on the defensive end, on the offensive end, and his minutes were decreased during the playoffs because of this. So he went under in his first game against Spain. He ended up with 17. He ended up hooking. And he actually shot pretty well, 7 for 12 from the field and 2 for 4 from the three-point line. But now he goes up against Canada, who has really good perimeter defenders that Spain did not have. So Canada has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is a good defender, Lou Dort, who is a great defender, and Dylan Brooks, who is just a pesky defender. Shai and Lou Dort are actually on the same team as Josh Giddey with the Thunder. So I can see them taking it as a challenge to try to shut him down, to make it really difficult for him to score. And I know Greece, their guards weren't NBA players, but their starting guards shot 1 for 7, and the other shot 1 for 4, and then their backup guards shot 2 for 7, and then the other 1 for 7. That could have to do with talent-wise, but it also could have to do with some very good defense being played on the perimeter. So I think it's going to be difficult for Josh Giddey against his teammates. So I'm going with him under 17.5 points. And as for Canada, taking a look at Prizepicks plays, Shai and RJ Barrett, their points are overpriced. A lot of guys on Canada are overpriced right now, so I'm going to delay on taking a Canada play, and if I see anything, I'll put it in that pinned comment along with that Germany game. And there's also underdog plays that'll come out that have combos and stuff like that, so we could find value there. So definitely keep an eye out for that pinned comment tomorrow. I have all day tomorrow to fill out that pinned comment. So prediction, I think it's going to be pretty competitive. Obviously, two very good teams. But I'm going to go with Australia here at plus 6.5 at -115. I think that spread 7 points is just a little too wide for them with the talent gap. Is actually pretty close with the amount of NBA players. I know Canada is probably the favorite for silver, but I think this is going to be a pretty close game. Someone who could cause Canada fits is going to be Jock Landale, who has been scoring very well. I believe dropped 20 points in the first game, and Canada's centers are Dwight Powell and Kelly Olynyk. I think Jock Landale could cause some problems for Canada down low. And then before I get into this third game, I want to shout out my partners, Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, and ChalkBoard. Use promo code FinalRound11 on any of these. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. There's links in the description. I'll take you straight there with the promo codes, and thank you to anyone who uses those. So this third game is going to be France and Japan. I immediately went to Japan's roster to see who their tallest player was. The tallest player is Josh Hawkinson, who is 6'10". Prizepicks does not have any lines up for Hawkinson. He's actually a pretty good player. But there was a value play that just jumped out to me immediately, and it was Nicholas Batum over 8.5 points. That's on Prizepicks. Fanduel has him at 9.5 points at -113. So 8.5 points is potentially around -145-ish. And Nicholas Batum, he played the most minutes for France. He played 34 minutes, and he dropped 19 points in that first game. And in an exhibition versus Australia, right before this started, he dropped 12 points in 23 minutes. So if he's getting 30-plus minutes, for him to get 9 points should be reasonable. So I do like the value there. And then when it comes to Japan, they have 4 guys that play 30-plus minutes, and a lot of guys who played 36 minutes. But like before, I don't like any of the Japanese props. You really just have Rui Hachimura to choose from, and then Wantambi, who is also an NBA player. So the issue with being undecided on their props are like Rui scored 20 points in that last game. He shot 4 for 19 and he scored 20 points. They have his line at 20.5. He's going to be going up against Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama, so it's going to be very difficult to score. But if he's scoring 20 points with 19 shots, 4 for 19, he could do it. But the logic would say it's going to be very difficult for him to do it. And he's going to be playing a ton of minutes. And then Watanabe scored 16 points on 6 of 13 shooting. He's also going to have a very difficult time scoring, but the volume is going to be there. If I was going to go on under, it would be Watanabe because his line is at 14.5. We would just need him to score one less basket than before. So maybe I'll put that in the pinned comment if I start to feel a little bit better about it, but it would be Watanabe under 14.5 points. Prediction. France didn't play too great in the exhibition games. And then against Brazil kind of put up a pretty good fight for a little while there. And then until the third quarter, France really jumped out and took the lead. So the spread here is 18 points. Japan just lost to Germany by 20 points. They've had some really close games against teams like Australia in exhibition games. So I think Germany's better than France. So I'm actually going to go with Japan at plus 18 here. So keep an eye out for that pinned comment for the rest of the games. And as far as a recap goes, Puerto Rico and South Sudan, I was happy to wake up and see that I swept those. I had Alvarado over 23.5 PRA for DraftKings. That hit. Tremont Waters over 14.5 points. That hit. And then Alvarado over points plus rebounds on Underdog. That hit. That was at 19.5. And then my prediction was South Sudan to win. I had their money line. If I said if you want a little bit more juice, or at -2 for the spread to get a little bit like plus money. And they ended up winning pretty convincingly. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I also had Carlik Jones over 17.5 points on DraftKings. That hit, and also 4.5 rebounds on Underdog. That was at -190 on DraftKings, but Underdog had a really good deal on it. So those both hit as well. So those all did really well. And then this USA and Serbia game, I knew it was going to be difficult to predict with minutes-wise. I knew LeBron was going to get his minutes. Curry was going to get his minutes. Curry actually didn't get as many as I thought. But I went with Anthony Davis over 1.5 block shots. That was on Prizepicks. It was a Discord play, and he ended up getting in foul trouble. Didn't play much of the first half. He didn't get any blocks. And then Curry over 2.5 3-pointers made. That was as much of a sweat as they can get. He knocked down his third three in like literally the last second. And then I had Bogdanovic over 1.5 turnovers. That was kind of a sweat. He ended up getting both turnovers in like the final 3 or 4 minutes. So that hit. And then I wasn't confident in any Jokic props, but I said if a lean would be over his rebounds, and just because he had been getting his rebounds, but I just wasn't confident because it was so high at 10.5, and he did not go over that lean. So pretty good day. I didn't add all that up, but I still had people complaining that I had missed the Anthony Davis blocks and the lean on Jokic. People were complaining about that. And I also got the prediction right with the USA spread. So it was a very, very good day, but definitely check out the Discord if you haven't. It's a great Discord, great community. It's free. You can hop on in there. And then I'm going to get this edited and get it out to you. If you do well with these picks and you feel like giving back, I have a Cash App and Venmo in the description. You can donate back to the channel. And thank you to anyone who does donate. So God bless you. It's Final Round. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.